everybody. Welcome to the OnStage Blog Theater podcast. And we are really excited today. We are here to talk about the investment of Broadway. And in particular, we're going to be giving some pitches of show ideas that we think would be good investments. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm theater critic Rachel Wagner, and Jacqueline Collier is here.
Hello, I'm very excited to get to do this today,
Yeah.
especially with this crew. I think we're gonna have fun.
Yeah. So we have with us Mark Bonani is here. And Mark, thank you so much.
Hey, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. So I thought of you for sure. I mean, I always like having you on, but because you have done so many, I thought you might have some interesting suggestions because you have done these look backs, historical look backs of different Broadway shows, and you might be able to come up with some
Yeah,
more obscure choices.
there's a few gems in there. Although, one
Yeah.
thing I've learned is that many of these shows flopped because they
For a
sucked.
reason. Yeah.
Or,
Yes.
not fully, but yeah, for a reason.
Yeah.
But there's a
Right.
couple of gems in there.
So, what got me thinking about this is there was an article in the New York Times called "The Broadway Musical is in Trouble," and talking about how few Broadway musicals were profitable that had made back their investment. Now, that was a problem, and it is true that a lot of what has been profitable it is true that a lot of what has been profitable has been plays, uh, which you don't think, but they're, I think, so much cheaper to put on. I would think is probably part of the reason, but nevertheless, and it is maybe a little bit interesting because we had such high attendance. We've had ticket sales are so high, and yet the productions aren't making back their investments, and we've just had a bunch close in the last couple of months, Cabaret being a big one. And I don't did you have a chance, Jax, to read this article? Do you have any thoughts? I don't.
Oh, yeah, I think yeah, I found it really, really surprising what you're saying about the plays, about,
uh
being more profitable than the musicals. And I think it's a very interesting era that we're in where it feels like in order to be successful on Broadway, you have to be some sort of revival, reboot, tapping into nostalgia. But it does seem like that's what the culture has an appetite for right now. I think for a myriad of reasons, the culture is really feeling nostalgic right now. And people are like, let's return to simpler times, things that we know, things that we understand. So I feel like that's why we're seeing so much of that on Broadway now and just in media in general.
Yeah, that's the thing I would say is that, yeah, media in general. I mean, even there's not that many particularly original films that are making a lot of money these days. And we just had one battle after another, huge hype, huge praise, and it made $21 million this weekend, very low. And that's not uncommon if it doesn't have I mean, we've had pretty good this year considering with Sinners and with
Mhm.
weapons and things like that. But for the most part, if you don't have that franchise, you don't have that. So even in film, in other mediums, it's really hard. But Mark, did you have a chance to look at the article? Did you have any
I
thoughts
I
about?
didn't. Anytime I see anything with an article title like, Broadway is dying or is in trouble, I have
Yeah.
no interest in these art. I mean, they were saying that in 1943. They were saying it in 1929. I mean,
Yeah.
so no, I didn't. But I agree with what you guys are saying. But I think it's a different reason. I don't think it's a taste for nostalgia that's driving this. I think it's that now that I have kids and a wife, if I want to take them to a show, if I want to take the whole family, that's $400 or $500 investment
Yeah.
in a single evening. If I want to take my wife, that's $200 to $300, including the babysitter, going to
Mhm.
dinner.
And
That's a
that's a
huge
good
amount of
deal.
money to
Yeah.
spend.
That
That's a
would be a
huge,
good deal. I mean, you could spend way more than that,
well,
even.
absolutely. I'm talking,
Yeah.
baseline, couple $100 to see a show. Uh, and you want to know, you don't want to spend all that money and time and not enjoy the show. So that's why
That's true.
these are just safer investments for your time and money as an audience member,
Hmm.
to know the property, know the performer, know you're going to get something out of it. And yes, there's been so many shows closing, but that's sort of the nature of the business. We've also had maybe happy ending based on nothing,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
just word of mouth and talent and incredible uh, artistry on stage, and that's succeeded and has become a big hit. Now it's
Hmm.
had a whole controversy that sort of affected it, but that is neither here nor there with this
Yeah.
conversation. But I think it's more that we literally can't afford to
Yeah.
experiment too much.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't been to New York City for since last December because I couldn't not only not afford the tickets to see his shows, but I couldn't even afford the plane ticket. The plane tickets have gotten so expensive. So that's even another thing, is all the different travel expenses have gotten, as far as touristing, have gotten prohibitively expensive lately.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
that's another thing.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's interesting. It's
yeah,
interesting what is happening. But like anything, I mean, I kind of wonder, I mean, maybe this would just be way too complicated, but if if Broadway would do well, if say like the Schubert theaters or something like that came up with basically like a season pass,
Yeah.
that so you'd spend $200. I'm just however much, $200, and you got a season pass to 3, maybe even 4 shows, and that you could see, and or something like that might be kind of get people to sort of invest. And maybe if they had that, they might be more inclined to give a bit of a more risky show a chance. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Because they're
yeah,
buying into it knowing that other stuff is secure and safe.
Mhm. Yeah.
yeah. But then tourists are the
Hmm.
main people buying tickets. So I don't know if a season pass for me. I mean, if they come for one trip, because yeah, people used to see 2, 3 shows on a trip, and now it's just one. They can only
Yeah,
afford to see one, and
it's true.
they're still gonna go see Wicked. They're still gonna go
Right.
see Lion King. They're gonna,
Yeah, it's true. Well, so what we decided to do is we're each going to pitch 5 shows, and then I thought it would be fun if we each pick a the our favorite pitch that wasn't done by us
the one we'd
the
like
at
to
the
invest
end.
in.
Yeah, the one we'd like to invest in. It's like Shark Tank, but for Broadway. And
It's Sharks and Jets tank.
I just said 5. Yeah. And it could be a revival, it could be a new show, it could be anything. It could be they should write a show based on this movie or this, jukebox musical or whatever. That whatever you wanted to do. So there weren't any restrictions on that. And I will start my first one, and I don't understand why this hasn't been done already. Is Tick Tick Boom, I think, just makes so much sense. It was on off Broadway, but the Kennedy Center just in 2024, I saw that production. It was incredible. To me, all of my picks, I tried to pick shows that have minimal spectacle, so they would be cheap to stage, and for the most part smaller casts. Just they would just be low cost, and this would be so cheap. It literally has one set, his apartment, and it has 3 cast members. That's it. And it has name recognition. People know the movie. A lot of people like the movie, and it's at least has some name recognition that I think you could get in there. And I even think that how big of a buzz you would get if they somehow, some way could convince Andrew Garfield to do it. I
I
think
would be
that would
stage
be
touring every night
huge.
for
I mean,
that.
that would be a smash.
Yeah.
Any musical with him in it, but yeah, and especially in
Yeah.
Tick Tick Boom. But
Yeah.
let me say this about, to your point. This is sort of off topic, but to what you were saying, the cheap, three person, not a lot of set. That's great and cheap for the producers, but who cares about them?
Mm-hmm.
If they're not going to make my ticket cheaper. If they're
Mm-hmm.
saving money, my ticket's going to be the same price no matter how expensive their show is. And
Yeah. I
I'm
mean,
now seeing no set, minimal costumes for
yeah.
my $200 for a ticket.
That's fair. I guess I was thinking of it from the perspective of an investor, that like this would make me more want to invest in something if I knew that it was going to be cheap to put on. But
Yeah.
like I guess the thing with Tick Tick Boom is that like you wouldn't feel like you were missing anything. It's not like Evita with almost no sets, or like Sunset Boulevard with minimal sets, like things like that, where you might feel like, oh, I'm missing something, whereas that's just that's just the musical, like it just doesn't have,
Yeah.
and so I think I don't think anyone would feel like, oh, I'm really missing out. But that's fair. I mean, we wouldn't want all of the musicals to be spectacle free and and
Yeah.
modern, like that's a fair point. I mean, at the Kennedy Center, they had Brandon Uranowitz and Danae Benton and Gray Henson. There were the
Oh,
three
such a good cast.
great cast.
But
And
not a cast that's going to sell tickets.
no, and they were all wonderful. But yeah, if you could get somebody that was buzzworthy, it would help, which is the thing. But I don't know. I just feel like it would do really well. It would be very profitable. And so that was my first pitch.
A good one.
And are we considering, we're considering for this pitch, just so I have my investor brain on, Andrew
Yeah.
Garfield's attached.
Yeah, let's
Okay.
do that. Why not?
I mean, I have to think of that.
I mean, yeah, that's a big difference.
It would be really, really cool. But Jax, what is your first pitch?
Okay, so I think I have a general sort of theme in mind. Well, no, I shouldn't say leaning into nostalgia. I would say I'll tell you what this is, even though I don't really have much experience with this, but I was trying to tap into the youth, and as someone who teaches and coaches kids who are in the theater, the things that they're interested in and the things that they liked, and kind of getting in some of that excitement around John Proctor is the villain. Okay,
Mm.
so um, it's called Tiger Beat. It's a Korean American teen forms a secret like K-pop band. So it's like a K-pop musical for teenagers. So it's like Mean Girls meets High School Musical with K-pop. Now, could I tell you anything about
Oh,
K-pop? No,
that would
but
be
my
with
students are super obsessed with it.
K-pop Demon Hunters. That would
Yes.
be yeah. Oh,
That is all I hear in this house with my two
Oh,
daughters.
really? Okay. So your
All I
daughter,
hear is K-pop Demon Hunters.
yeah. I mean, I love it. Yay. but
I wish I could flesh it out more, like I knew more about K-pop, but I know I think it would be fun to have something about K-pop and to have a younger cast with like a few ringers playing the adults.
yeah, that sounds really good. What's it called again?
Tiger Beat.
Oh, see, so have you
Do you remember
seen
Tiger Beat magazine?
Yes, that's what made me think. Okay.
Yes.
Do I remember it? I have so many.
JTT.
Yeah.
Oh,
Have
God.
you seen K-pop Demon Hunters yet, Jax?
I have not,
Yeah,
but
you've
like
got to
I
watch
feel like
it.
through osmosis, I've seen
It's
it because
You've
of what
got to
I've heard
watch
it's
about
it.
pretty great. It's actually
It's really
it's
good.
I do listen to the music now myself, I must say.
Yeah. Very good. And it was, yeah, speaking of bad investments, the Sony animation that they sold it to Netflix for $20 million. I mean, great investment for Netflix, but
Well, now there's a TV series in the works, a live
yeah.
action version in the works, a sequel in the works, and a stage adaptation in the works. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Very good. All right. Mark, what's your first pitch?
My first pitch is a traditional revival well, not a traditional revival, but just a revival of a musical that did fairly well, but was overshadowed in its time. I think we should revive The Full Monty.
I just
Oh,
I just saw that for the first time this month.
It's a great score. You get the whole, male nudity angle to it. I don't know who I would cast. I didn't think that far ahead, but I think a revival of Full Monty would has the potential to do very well.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I saw a community theater production of it, and it's really sweet, and it has a lot to say about. I said in my review that that I think this could actually be like a fun date night because it's about a lot about marriage too, about these men and their marriages, and so it could be interesting for couples.
Yeah,
You know,
it's got women and gay men. That's the focus of Broadway. Those are the
yeah.
two who would I think really go for it.
Hmm.
And then the material is proven and solid. It opened in the same
Hmm.
season as the producers, so it got buried. But I think so you don't have to worry artistically. I think it's solid and ready to be rediscovered.
Yeah.
yeah. And I think it's a for women who might be a little more traditionally conservative or live in the Midwest or a little button up, it's like a acceptable form of horniness that they
Yeah.
Yeah,
can have
It's
with
it's
it.
yeah, it's
have
And
true.
you
I'm
ever
like, yes.
go ahead.
Oh no, just yeah, I was just saying acceptable form of horniness. That was the end of my
Yeah.
sentence.
Yeah. They were trying to do what's that movie? This boy guy stripper movie.
Magic
Oh,
Mike.
Magic
Magic
Mike.
Mike. They were trying to do Magic Mike live on stage. I mean, for years it was like gonna come to Broadway. And then that fizzled out. So I think it's not quite there. It's still like, oh no, it's just a Broadway musical, but it's not naked boys
Yeah,
singing, you
Yeah.
know.
it's
Yeah.
true. Yeah, that's
Oh,
true. Because
it's a good one.
because it has those other themes of like marriage and body not body positivity and things like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
And a
So
husband might agree to go along to the Full Monty. He probably wouldn't agree to go along to Magic Mike.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that I think is very, very exciting, and I wish that I was in New York City so that I could go to this immersive Phantom. It looks absolutely incredible. It's been like their marketing behind it has been unbelievable, putting all the clues all around the city and
Yeah.
everything that they've done has been so fun. It's so exciting. And so I think that we were talking the other day about like what is a ah, did you get to go?
I went this last week.
Oh my gosh.
Was it incredible?
It was pretty amazing. They did some
Yeah.
really incredible things. I think the most incredible thing was I actually teared up at the end of Phantom, which I was not expecting. Yeah.
Oh, how many rooms are do you go through?
Oh God, I lost track because not only do you go to a ton of rooms, but you also return to rooms that have then been like reset.
Oh wow.
So, but there's special effects. I was pulled aside like by an actor, like behind this thing, and had this whole little scene with literally just me.
Oh, I love it.
It was very cool.
Oh man.
Very cool.
Because we were talking about like what is a landmark, what do you consider a landmark musical in the 2000s and or the 2020s, and we had a hard time kind of thinking of one that was like a game changer, but I feel like this immersive Phantom could be a game changer
Yeah.
in the way that it gets people to think of shows in a whole new way, and that's I don't know, I'm just so excited about it, even just again from a marketing perspective. So I was trying to, because then they also did over in the UK, they did the immersive Greece over there,
Hmm.
which you wouldn't
They'll
have
bring
this.
that over here, I'm sure.
You think because I was thinking, well, they are they going to have the space? Because I think it
If they do it in
requires
like
like
Central
a
Park or something, because it's not
maybe
like
Central
it's
Park.
a Secret Cinema is doing it. It's
Oh,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
so it's like the movie live. It's not trying to do the
Yeah.
stage show. But I think they can get a permitted space to do it.
Mm. Because that would be huge. So I was trying to think of what would be a show that has like a lot of spectacle that you could do sort of fun rooms and
Ooh, yeah.
for, you know. And so I thought about what if you did an immersive Joseph? And there actually hasn't been a revival of Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat since 1993 on Broadway, which is crazy that it's been that long.
Yeah, that
And
is crazy.
but it's been incredibly successful in the UK on the West End. They've had revival after revival and this really successful tour, and I just thought that like you could have a lot of fun where you could have a room for the hoedown, you could have a room for Potiphar, you could have a room for Pharaoh, one for these Canaan days, each of the different kind of songs, and it has, I think, enough of a fan base that that I think, because I mean I don't know about other places, but here in Utah it is incredibly popular still to this day. I mean people do Joseph all the time, and so people have a lot of nostalgia for it. People really like it, and even you could even have a lot of fun if you had like different celebrities as the narrators. You could
Oh
have
yeah.
like buzzy names as the narrator, because I think they have like, don't they have four casts at Immersive Phantom?
I think it's more than that. Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
because it's multiple shows running at the
Yeah,
same time.
yeah,
Yeah.
which is also adds to the profitability if you could have that. But um
Except the sec you're only with us like 20 people at a time going through. It's
yeah, I
still
guess that's true. Yeah. So anyway, I think that immersive Joseph could be fun. And
I
like
will go to anything immersive, so this is a tempting investment for me.
that.
it definitely lends itself, the show itself has so many different styles, so it lends itself to that different room
Yeah.
Mhm.
concept.
Yeah, yeah. So all right, Jax, what's your next pitch?
Ghostbusters the musical. This is another thing that I'm
Mm.
not personally that into.
No,
But
oh, not personally then into Ghostbusters? Are we talking the original 1984 Ghostbusters? Because then you
no, no,
need to
no,
go
like I
rewatch that film. All right.
I
Yeah.
like it. It's just not like my obsession, you know what I mean? But
Gotcha.
I kind of live near the firehouse downtown that has the
Ooh.
Ghostbusters thing. So every time I walk past and like think about it, be like dun 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 dun, dun, you know,
Yeah.
I you could do gender inclusive casting for the four like heroes. Like they could be all sort of like a motley crew of people, like Broadway legends. I also feel like with some of the ghosts and stuff, it could lend a little like projections, puppets, like Avenue Q. Like I think people would come dressed up. I think it could have a little bit of like Avenue Q meets like Back to the Future fun, like with the
Mm-hmm.
nostalgia.
Hmm.
Get Jim
Yeah.
Henson Company involved, maybe.
Yes. Get Jim
Brand
Henson Company involved.
recognition.
Yeah.
Do you have anybody that you think would be a good songwriting team
Ooh.
for Ghostbusters?
Um, no, I don't have anyone in mind. But wait, who do
Oh.
you think would be good? Because I'll take it on as a new.
I don't know. Who would be particularly good at that kind of
Trying to think of
nostalgic writing?
nostalgic, like
Um,
really fun, smart, quirky. Um,
yeah. Uh,
I think Joe DiPietro and David Byrne, the team behind Diana, the musical.
oh,
ooh,
I think they would
yes.
bring a poppy, fun score.
I
Yeah,
like that.
that's a great one. Great
Okay,
pitch.
they're on my team now, just so you know.
Good. Uh, all right, Mark, what's your next pitch?
My pitch is that we bring back Beetlejuice for a fourth time. No, no, let's not do that. Mine is sort of general. It's bring back the Broadway review. Not
Yes.
quite the Ziegfeld Follies, but I
Mm,
think a review format where it's skits and, sketches and songs and dance pieces
true.
written by, I think of like The Lonely Island, comedy song writers. You get some SNL people in there. Not only is it fun, it's variety. People don't have to worry about story or knowing anything beforehand, but also just like the reviews of old, every few months you could add a new song, you could add a new person, you could, actors could do 2 week stints and make it really profitable to have big names come in for a week or two, and the shows can change and evolve. Just have it be, odds and ends of 25, and that's the name of
Yeah.
the show. And I think it'd be very cheap to produce,
Yeah.
and easily reworkable and long
Mhm.
lasting. That's my pitch.
That is a good idea. I mean, they kind of did that, didn't they, with that old Friends with it was like Sondheim, right?
Yeah,
Sondheim
so that's
review.
like
Yeah.
it's like a composer review, but this would just be sort of a general, no theme per se.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that would be really cool if you could
Yeah, I love
like
that.
and it would get people to keep going back, if like, oh, here this week we can see Audra McDonald, next week we could see Sherry Riley
Yeah.
Scott or
And then you could
whoever.
be topical too, and then once those references have played out, you can change things
Yeah.
out, and it's not a set piece, it's an evolving show.
I
Yeah.
think that's really smart too, because the barrier to entry for someone who's like, I don't like musicals, they're like, oh no, this is a review show. It's gonna be fun. Like, I think we
Yeah.
get a lot of people to come that maybe otherwise wouldn't.
Well, and it might be
Yeah.
nice for the actors if they're like in between shows, to do a
Yeah.
couple weeks of this, and kind of get their name out there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's a good idea. That's a very good idea. All right. Well, my third idea is one that I've heard buzz that people are talking about doing it, but nothing I don't think has been announced. It's Muppets Christmas Carol.
Oh,
So obviously this does have a limited season. It would be a seasonal show, obviously. But I mean, I think you could start it in September. I mean, they do the uh haunted mansion switcheroo in at Disneyland to the Nightmare Before Christmas. They do that in August. So I these days, yeah. But anyway, and the Muppets Christmas Carol is extremely popular. People have a ton of nostalgia for it. People really love it. There was a 2022 Radio Times survey found that 63% of UK film fans rewatch it annually, and a third consider it their favorite Christmas film. And so there have done multiple concerts on Broadway, I guess, of the songs without the puppets, without the Muppets. And there was Sesame Street the musical off Broadway that I think did pretty well in a limited run. So there's some, and obviously there's like edgier puppets with like Avenue Q and things like that. But I just think almost everybody, especially my age, would want to go see it. And
yeah. And kid friendly. That's really fun too.
yeah, the whole family could go.
Yeah.
That it seems like a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I think it would be a huge hit. The only thing is how would you do the Muppets? Because you
Mm-hmm.
couldn't have it Avenue Q style where you see the Puppeteers, because that's not how the Muppets are done.
Mm-hmm.
And for the Sesame Street, the off-Broadway kids one, they were behind little walls, the performers, and you would see the puppets on the little walls. And that was all pre-recorded with the real Muppet voices. And
Oh,
there
okay.
weren't live performers singing in that
Oh, I
one.
didn't know that.
But
I didn't know that.
Oh,
that's easily fixable. Yeah, so that just so Abby sounds like Abby, Elmo sounds like
Mm,
yeah.
Elmo. Um, but so it'll be interesting to see how Rob Lake featuring the Muppets, that's not a story, so
yes.
he can have them just sitting on a table. But I don't know that a full musical without really mobile puppets, I don't know how it would translate.
Mhm.
But I think people would buy a ticket to find out.
Yeah, you'd have to have some kind of platform so they could be underneath like they do in the movies, so that but
Yeah.
that would be tricky. Yeah, that's a good point. That's true. All right, Jax, what's your next pitch?
I love when I'm pitching things that like I'm not particularly passionate about, but like people love.
I would
Um,
invest in this,
It's
but
investor. Yeah, investor.
Investor. Um, All Too Well, the Taylor Swift musical. But here's the thing.
Oh yeah.
We can't have a Taylor, like it's not, it's basically, I was thinking, it's a story of like three friends who've just gone through like terrible breakups, like navigating being in New York City together. Like they've all just moved there. And I'm thinking for the leads, Jordan Tyson, who played Baby June in Gypsy, um, Eva Noblezada. Am I saying her name right?
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
Um, from Cabaret and a million other things. And then also, I love this performer. She's a really good friend of a friend. Her name's Jonalyn Saxer. She's
I love
yeah,
Jonathan Sack.
do you love
Yeah.
her? Okay, she's
Yeah.
amazing. And I feel
Yeah,
like
my
she's
wife worked
got
on Mean Girls, so we know
yes.
her through that.
That's my friend, Zoran, who's a friend of the pod, was in Mean Girls with her. And she's so sweet and so incredible. And I feel like she deserves like a big breakout role. And she also has a little bit of a Taylor look, which we don't want someone who's like impersonating Taylor, but having a little bit of
You
that
want
soul
that look, yeah.
trait.
Especially in a
Um,
trio. You want one to have that look.
exactly. You won't want to have that like Swifty look. So I think that this would be a really fun, and Taylor has a ton of bops. So I think that this
Mhm.
would be a really fun musical that I think people would really like. And they
It's
could
a
wear all
great
their
idea.
bracelets, merch.
Oh yeah. See, that's a
Yeah.
perfect example of a show that I would invest in and not want to see at all. Not for me.
You're like, no,
But
thank you. But
that would
I might
make
I
so
might
a lot
pass.
of money. Yeah,
Yeah.
breakup, angsty.
Yeah.
No. Mm-mm, mm-mm.
All right, Mark, what's your next pitch?
My next pitch, so it's sort of a half-baked idea. I think it should be a jukebox musical, I think, or it could be new music, but it's Lady Gaga music,
Hmm.
essentially. And I think my friends saw her concert tour, and they've said that her concert was much more of a through line story than any concert they'd ever seen. So
Hmm.
I think her music can lend itself to a sort of spooky, maybe like dark Alice in Wonderland type musical. Uh, and Lady Gaga. That's my pitch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is
I think.
she that's another icon too, where you're just like people are so obsessed with her. And
Yeah.
rightfully so.
Mhm.
That there's a whole mystique around
Yeah.
her that I feel like could be really, really fun for that.
It's a good idea. I couldn't think of any artists that haven't had jukebox musicals, but you all thought of two. So that's good. Very good. Well, my fourth pitch is a little more simple. This is a would be a play, and I think that a lot of people would be really interested and excited if there was a Broadway play of Pride and Prejudice. People love Pride and Prejudice. People love the story, especially if you got a buzzy person, someone real hunky to be Darcy. And that would be really fun. I was even trying to think of like if there was a famous couple that could do it, but I don't know couples that well. That would be, there's somebody that already has chemistry, and that would be fun. There is a musical by Paul Gordon, who I love Paul, but it's not my favorite. I would just do a play. There's lots of different. There's Andrew Davies version that, and he's the one who did the 1995 miniseries Colin Firth. But then there's also local Melissa Lanny Larson, playwright. She has an absolutely great adaptation that is available to be licensed by anybody all over. But whoever did it, I just think it is a very, very, very popular story, and I think it could be cheap to produce and it could be very popular.
There's
Yeah,
another musical version of it from 1959 that flopped on Broadway called First Impressions.
Oh wow. First
Yeah.
first
impression.
impression.
Yeah, that old chestnut.
Oh. Yeah, so
I don't know. I had never seen Pride and Prejudice, didn't know the story pretty much. I saw literally on Friday, I saw my first adaptation of Pride and Prejudice off Broadway. It's called Are the Bennett Girls Okay?
Oh, is
oh,
that
what
good? I've
is
heard it's really
that?
It's
good.
incredible. Some of the best acting I've ever seen. It is amazing. It's set in the same time period and setting of Pride and Prejudice, but like they speak as modern day women and have more
Oh,
modern day takes on things. It was incredible. And the person who played the mother, it really, Darcy, again, I don't know Pride and Prejudice except for this version. Darcy was
uh-huh.
not in it a whole lot. I thought it was going to be mainly
Oh,
him and the girl, but it was like the mom and the daughters. This
oh.
mom, who was so brilliant in the show, I would want her to be in it and win a Tony. But Melissa McCarthy could play this role and take it to Broadway, and it would be a big hit. Anyway, that's not my pitch,
Yeah.
but that reminded me.
That's so cool. I hadn't heard of
But yeah,
that.
go see Are the Bennett Girls Okay? It's really great.
Yeah,
Oh,
I had heard of it. It was like on my radar and then it wasn't. So I'm glad that you mentioned it again because I thought it looked great.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, great
All right.
set. Yeah.
All right, Jax, what's your number four?
Um, continuing the trend of things that friends of mine are obsessed with. Um, okay, Breaking the Chain, the Fleetwood Mac musical about Fleetwood Mac. So like different
Mhm.
than the other, like the Taylor Swift one, like this is actually about Fleetwood Mac. I feel like I see people dressing up as Stevie Nicks to come. And I wish I could talk about it in more detail, but I don't know. Actually, the story, I know there was like they were together, they weren't the
They like swapped partners, I think, right? I
yeah.
think.
There was a
Yeah.
whole bunch of switching. So let me not to immediately throw water on this. What I think is actually a great idea. That's pretty much what the play Stereophonic was that just won.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's not the story of Fleetwood Mac, but absolutely inspired by the story of Fleetwood Mac.
And
So
Rumor, the Rumors album, right?
the Rumors album,
the
yeah,
Yeah.
it was pretty much like the making of that, but they didn't want to stick to the actual like people and dates and stuff, so they
people
didn't
and
make it Fleetwood Mac. They made it anyway.
Yeah.
oh, so
So
basically, okay, so this would have been a good investment
I
years
mean, in
ago.
maybe like 2-3 years, I think it would be a
Yeah.
great. I mean, it still might be because it's still very hot. I mean, my 10-year-old daughter's one of her best friends is obsessed with Fleetwood Mac at 10.
Really?
Well,
Yeah,
and that Stereophonic did pretty good for how long a show it is, right?
that show
Isn't
was
it?
so long. Yeah,
It was
well
so
over three
long.
hours.
Yeah.
My poor butt. I saw it
Yeah.
twice.
You
Yeah,
Yeah.
saw it twice?
I did. It was brilliant. Yeah, I
Yeah.
saw it twice.
Do you think it would have been improved by being a half hour shorter or no?
I think it would improve by letting us stand up for 5 minutes between Act One and Act Two and Act Three or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Hot take. I think almost every show on Broadway would be better in 20, 30 minutes. I think you could cut 2, 3 songs from almost every show and they would be better. If we're talking about investments, I mean, I'm not the biggest Six fan, but you gotta like how short it is. Like that I do think there's something to be said that these long shows can be a bit of a turnoff for some
Yeah.
people.
I think the story should take as long as a story takes. Some stories are 90 minutes. I've sat through. I saw a Long Day's Journey into Night with Brian Dennehy, Philip Seymour Hoffman, and Vanessa Redgrave. It was 4 hours and 15 minutes, and I would have immediately sat and had it start again and watched it
Oh,
immediately
wow.
again. It was
Mhm.
so, it just depends.
Yeah. So, Mark, what is your fourth pitch?
So my fourth is turning a film from the early 2000s into a musical. It's called Down with Love.
Mm,
Do you remember this movie?
yeah, with
Renee
Ewan
Zellweger
McGregor.
and Ewan McGregor.
Yeah.
I think it's somewhat obscure enough to where people don't have too many expectations, but it's a name enough to where people,
Yeah.
it's not completely unknown. It's like a
Mhm.
throwback to the old 60s, like sex comedies of like Rock Hudson and Doris Day. So I think
You
you can get
know,
like a nostalgia feel, but with a modern twist on it.
I think what they should do is Down with Love with words and lyrics by Michael Bublé.
There you
Oh,
go.
yes.
That would be huge.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. Very that's a fun idea. I like that. All right, my last pitch is I've just loved this whole horror movement that we've gotten in the last few years. I love Heathers. I love Evil Dead the musical. Just a lot of these I think are, and that was when I considered Evil Dead the musical, but I feel like it's at more its home off Broadway. I feel like it makes more sense there. But anyway, so last year I saw a local production of Misery and I was blown away. And speaking to my idea of pitching stuff that was simple to perform, has two people in three people in the cast, but really two main leads. It has, I mean, literally when I saw it, it was in the ceramics room of the local college. Unbelievable. They had like two rows and the bed right there that they're on. And so they were like right in your face. And it was unbelievable. You wouldn't have to do that. But I was just absolutely mesmerized by it. I thought, and this adaptation is done by William Goldman, and I guess they did it on Broadway in 2015, and Bruce Willis
And
was
Laurie Metcalf.
and Laurie
Yeah.
Metcalf, and I guess Bruce Willis wasn't that good, but Laurie Metcalf got nominated for a Tony for it. And I just think it would be a low investment. It's Stephen King. It's a recognizable name. And I was just very, very impressed with the quality of the, not only the experience of having them so close, and that was, it was so, so good, but I was just really, really impressed with the quality of the script. And I just think it could be super fun. And especially if you could have somebody sort of buzzy, because again, you only have two performers to worry about. So if you could, I don't know, have Audra or somebody interesting in it, and I think it would do well.
She would kill it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it'd be a hard sell to investors, seeing as it flopped hard back not too long ago.
In
But
2015,
if there was ever a show to be immersive and site specific, it'd be Misery.
Yeah.
That would be cool to be like.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's New York, couldn't be a house, but like in an apartment and feel that trappedness.
Yeah. It was so cool. I felt very lucky that I was, because there were only like 25 of us in the audience, and it was so good. One of the coolest theatrical experiences I've ever had in my life. It was that Misery. And so that's what made me think of it. All right, Jax, what's your final pitch?
Okay, my final pitch is something that I think it would be really fun to go to.
Oh,
This is so like I love immersive theater. So like Mean Girls, the high school experience where you get to dress like um whatever, if you're a plastic, if you're one of the normals or whatever. And there's the cafeteria, there's the classroom, there's like the quad, there's all these things in this building. And you can also kind of like Sleep No More, follow whatever characters you want. You'll see different scenes, and then there'll be like a grand finale, like in the lunchroom. So that I think it would be really fun. I think that you get like Mark, when you were saying Broadway, like a lot of women and gay men, I feel like this hits that sweet spot of like multi-generational too, of people who like Mean Girls.
hmm
And I think that you could also kind of like with the um Taylor Swift musical, there's a lot of opportunities for like merch and TikToks and like building out buzz.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that could be really fun. Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, Mark, what's your
My
pitch? Your last pitch.
one. So, in keeping with, I know you were like thinking maybe I had some older shows, some lost gems. So I do have one. It's a show that ran 8 performances on Broadway, but I think it's absolutely brilliant. It's called Drat the Cat. It,
Whoa.
like I said, it flopped. It ran 8 performances. It started 19-year-old Leslie Ann Warren and Elliot Gould.
Oh, wow.
When he was married to Barbara Streisand at the time, and she tried to promote the show. It didn't work. But it's about like a bumbling police detective whose father was like the greatest police detective ever, and he on his deathbed he's like, uphold the family name, son, and he dies, and then this son is an absolute disaster, bumbling fool, and he's sent to protect this family from jewel thieves, and of course the daughter is the cat burglar. It's a woman burglar, and they fall in love, but she's the anyway. It's very funny. I think it was way ahead of its time, and I think it could actually do very well in a bit of a reboot, reimagining.
But
Yeah.
Leslie Ann Warren was the, oh my gosh, I
Yeah, she
bet.
was 19. She had just this was 1967. She had just come off of her Cinderella.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
incredible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
That
that's my obscure pitch.
Well, I'm glad because we didn't really do hardly any revivals. I mean, I guess I did Immersive Joseph, but we
Yeah,
didn't
and Full Monty, a
we didn't
few,
pitch
but
that. Yeah, a few.
when I
Yeah.
was in Phantom, I thought an immersive, like the same setup as Masquerade, but for Sweeney Todd would also be incredibly.
Ooh,
But
yeah,
we've had
yeah.
Sweeney
Yeah.
Todd so many times that I
Yeah.
didn't put it on the list. But that show would lend itself to I think,
That
really well
would,
to
yeah.
I actually thought of Into the Woods as well. But
Mm.
I wondered if it was too sad for that kind of like it's not fun enough for that kind of experience.
Well, the Masquerade's not. I mean, it's fun-ish, but yeah, it gets sad.
Yeah.
You get his whole backstory, and you go to like a freak show carnival. I saw a
Oh,
woman hammering
really?
nails into her nose, and there was a fire
Oh,
eater, and
that's so cool. Did they cut like songs? Is it
it's
shorter or is it
definitely
the full?
very changed. It's
Okay.
definitely very it's definitely its own animal masquerade.
Uh-huh.
I don't know Phantom the whole score well enough to know exactly
Uh-huh.
what, but like it doesn't start with the auction. It's
Oh, okay.
Madame Giry sort of leads you around, and
But
but
they
I
have
mean the
the
chandelier
yeah.
falls, and they do the
Yeah.
whole shebang.
Oh, that's so cool. Oh,
You go into his lair
I'm
of all his
di-
his inventions and stuff, and yeah,
oh, I'm dying. I'm dying to see it. I really
it just
am.
got extended to February.
I have to
Also,
Rachel,
go.
Schmigadoon just announced it's coming to Broadway this season.
Schmigadoon?
Yes. Yes.
Schmigadoon is coming
Just
Oh,
to
I,
the
this morning.
Nederlander in April.
Yeah.
oh,
That's going
that's
to be
fun.
fun. And that was at the Kennedy Center. So
Yeah.
maybe there's hope for Tick Tick Boom. Very cool. Well, so Jax, what would be your if you were an investor of these pitches, not your
Ooh.
own, what would you invest in?
Okay, because this is interesting because I'm like, how am I going to make my money back? But also, as the type of investor I am, me, because I invest in so many things, I like want to be like around and hanging out for
You want to
this.
be a hands-on producer.
I want to be a producer.
Yeah.
Um,
You don't want to be an angel, they call them, to just give money.
because I don't want
Yeah.
to be an angel investor. Like I care deeply about this, and I think. Okay, I think for me, can I pick two?
Sure.
I have two, so go for it.
You have two. Okay.
Ah.
Okay. So for some reason, I am just like very over. Maybe it's the Leslie Ann Warren of it all, but I'm very, I know she's not able to be with us for that. But Drat the Cat. Like I would love to see that. Um, I feel like also there's and the kids are using this word a lot now. Maybe you've heard it in your house, Mark. Lore. Lore around a Broadway show that only ran for eight
Hmm.
performances. Like I think you have a lot of cool stuff with that. Um, so that would be an investment. And then, I mean, it's a no-brainer for me to invest in the immersive Joseph. It's a no-brainer. I
That's-
am there every day, boots on the ground.
yeah.
Like there's no way that
You
I'm
could do
not.
so many fun clues and like the marketing. I mean, it would be, yeah.
I would be living for that. So I think those would be my two investments because they're the two that I would have the most fun with.
Mhm.
And, I want to, like Mark said, I'm not an angel investor. I'm a hands-on producer.
So, Mark, what would be your pick? You said you
I
had two.
think I think the two that would be the most profitable for me, or most profitable. I think the one that would give me the most artistic as well as financial success, would be the Andrew Garfield in Tick Tick Boom. I think that would just be a
He
slam
is
dunk.
attached.
Yeah, I mean, that would just be like merrily money right there.
Yeah.
And then I think the other one that I would just be an angel investor and reap my rewards would be the Taylor Swift
Yeah.
show, because I think that is just printing money. But I don't need to be hands-on with that
Would you
one.
even
So.
come? Would you come to like opening or
Oh
something
yeah.
else?
I mean,
Okay.
I would, have my picture taken, but I don't, I don't need to like be there with the dramaturge,
Yeah.
going through her lyrics. I literally think I heard of "Shake It Off." I think that's the only Taylor Swift song I've heard. So maybe it would turn me into a
Yeah.
huge Swiftie. I don't know.
So I went to the Eras not the Eras concert, but the on in the theaters
Oh,
in the cinemas because I was covering it, and I maybe knew two songs. People around me, of course, they were having a blast singing and stuff, and I love that. But it was just kind of funny. It was like because I don't follow pop music really at all. So
Here's the thing. I'm the same way as far as not really following pop music. And if you said name 5 Taylor Swift songs, I think I could probably name 3 or 4 and I'd get nervous and I wouldn't. But what was so funny is that I was like, oh yeah, I'm not like a Taylor Swift fan. But then like every time I hear a song, I'm like, oh, this is really good. It's like it's Taylor Swift. Not every time I hear a song, but I think it's one of those that and then you like listen to some of them and you're like, oh God, this is like so poetic. So as a non-Swiftie,
yeah.
darn, they're bops. I'll tell you what.
Yeah. I
I
think
feel like every time I've heard a song, I'm just like, this is the one everyone's obsessed with. This is the person that the world has gone crazy over.
Yeah.
This.
I do think I would pick the Taylor Swift one. I just think it would be very profitable. But I want to pick the K-pop one, but I think people might be really nervous because they had that K-pop that bombed so bad.
If that came out now, though, after K-pop Demon Hunters, it's almost name recognition now.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think maybe that I'd still say K-pop and but the Mean Girls one, that's also I think really solid. Mean Girls immersive. So what one of those I could imagine it would be a pretty good investment. So let us
And
know
do we have
what
a
you
lot
think.
of money between the 3 of us?
Yeah.
Could we just
I could invest a whole
Yeah.
like $200.
I could invest in a Taylor Swift CD.
Yeah.
Is what I could do. They don't even make CDs anymore, do they?
Yeah.
It would
not
actually
even a
probably be
thing.
more expensive than getting
Right? I have to
But-
buy a CD player. I have to.
But
exactly.
let
I
us
know
know.
LPs are now more buyable than CDs. That's crazy.
It's insane.
Let
What
us
world are
know
we
in the
living
comments what you would invest in, what you think are the best ideas, or if you have your own pitches, what you think would sell well and do well. We'd love to hear those ideas in the comments. That would be really fun. There's also a really good article on the website by Chris in response to the New York Times article that you should check out. That's really good. And so we'd love to hear your thoughts. And Jax, where can people follow you?
Jacqueline Collier on Instagram.
And Mark?
They can find me on YouTube at Broadway by Ghostlight.
Great. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews all over the place at rachelsreviewstheater.com. So check that out and just check out everything at OnStage blog. And thanks so much, everybody. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.